Welcome to Two Psychics. This is Michael Edley, evidential medium and mystic, discussing all things spiritual.
Hello, I'm Mary Amy of Two Psychics, an intuitive wisdom coach, tapping into your mystical life and sharing messages I receive about you.
Woo, good evening. Another fine evening here at the Jersey Shore. Pleasure to be with you. This is Michael Edley, psychic medium, and I am here with my fantastic co-host, Mary Amy. What's going on, Mary? How are you?
We're so glad to be here. Here we are, episode 22. It's March 6th. So tonight, it's all about talking with spirits. We have a guest, Alexandra LeClere. She's a medium and author. We also have two callers. In fact, we have one that's already here, and we are ready to give a reading tonight. We are just ripping and roaring and ready to go. I'm coming from New York. I'm an intuitive wisdom coach. And Michael?
I am a psychic medium, and I'm here from the Jersey Shore, and it's a nice, blissfully windy and slightly chilly evening. You know, we're getting a little bit of those warmer temps creeping up. I was getting a little taste of spring, you know, that spring weather, and now again, cold weather seems like it's creeping in, but it's an interesting time. You know, it's funny because I think as we go through the seasons, our body naturally wants to align with certain energetic, I would say the energetic vibe of the season, you know. And I think right now, as we're kind of coming out of winter, you know, we're towards the nearing the end, and I think we're seeing spring on the horizon. It's a good time for everyone to go deep, you know, really sit with that introspective energy and see where you want to go, see where you want to focus your energy on, and be very proactive, because what I'm finding is it's so easy for distractions to creep in. It's so easy for, you know, the media or the news or anything that anything that's designed to take our focus and keep us distracted. The more attention we're putting to that, the less focused we're going to be on our own path and our own journey. So that's my thing, is just be very present and really try to focus in on those projects, on completing, you know, whatever those tasks are that you've been putting off or saying, I'm not ready to do. You know, it's a great time to go deep, to have that introspective look at what needs to unfold, or what are the processes and procedures right now that you need to put in place to allow it to unfold. So it's a good season for that, good season for introspection, you know, have that introspect of what's going on.
Yes, I have to tell you this, I don't know what happened. I started to get into this feeling and these emotions of defeat in the last 24 hours. And it could be a combination of a lot of things. It's like pain in my shoulder. I'm trying to figure out what that's from. It's the rat race of living in the matrix and the work, the grind. And it's about, I guess, just trying to get through the winter, like you just mentioned, the cold weather. And here we are, and you can't even go for a walk because it's freezing most of the time. But I have to tell you, I said, okay, I came home from my job and I laid down on my bed and I said, I just needed stillness. And I was really praying the last 24 hours. I was asking, please, to, you know, the Virgin Mary, Jesus, God, the angels, the Holy Spirit. And I was just saying, please, please, please help me get through this. Please, please, please. Because no one out here in the physical reality can help me. It has to come through. And I laid down on my bed and I heard the word ball, because in my clairaudience, I'm like, ball of light? Because you know how we did ball of light last week? Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, I do this thing where I say, look over your shoulder when you want to get past something and see whatever it is you want to get past behind you. And all of a sudden, it was like someone dropped that thought into my mind, which I think it was divine intervention. And I saw everything I'm going through behind me, and my face, I couldn't help but smile. And then I had visions of where I was going. So, and details very vividly. So I said, yay, oh my gosh, it's coming sooner than I think. And, you know, everything's temporary, correct?
Yeah, it is. And sometimes we need to go through certain processes and procedures, and we need to have certain experiences, good or bad, in order to shift our mindset, or have us see things in a certain way. And it's interesting, I think right now one of the most integral things anyone out there could do is really try to get processes and procedures in place to lay that groundwork, lay that spiritual foundation. So when we are having moments of, chaotic energy, or we're feeling disconnected, we can kind of go back to those processes and procedures. And when we have those in place, whatever's going on, I think having those processes and procedures in place, like a daily meditation, waking up and having gratitude, being the first thing and not turning on news, just small things like that can create a major shift when something chaotic does come into your, into that forefront of what you're experiencing. And a lot of times, it's just those small practices can help us in that minuscule, tiny second of experiencing whatever's going on, have that shift, or, not be so reactive. So it's putting those procedures into place that I think allow us to be, I say, proactive, and it shifts from that reactive emotional state to a proactive state. So for example, I think if you weren't practicing your meditation and connecting on a deep psychic level to your guides and the energy around you, maybe you wouldn't have gotten that insight of the ball, and maybe you wouldn't have focused on it or paid attention to it, and that wouldn't have opened up that energetic connection and some of that insight and guidance, and being present in the moment. And that's the thing. Oh, and Mary Amy has disappeared from my screen, but I'll still talk about being present in the present moment. So it's very, very important. That's where we connect to a lot of the energy.
Now?
That's where you are there now. You're back. You turned invisible for a moment. but yeah, being present allows us to have that energetic experience and see things, through that clear sense of how we're experiencing it, and give us that additional insight and guidance that we otherwise wouldn't have if we weren't being present, if we weren't implementing those practices into our daily life to help us establish that balance when the chaos comes in to unravel us. And that's what I also tell people is, even if you're not experiencing profound shifts, it's in those small shifts that over time will create that profound shift. And so that's the thing people need to understand. It's the small gradual shifts that build up over time, and that's where the real change happens. It's not like an overnight quick fix. And unfortunately, I think a lot of people are looking for that, when that's definitely not the path to find it.
Yes. And when you say procedural, so I'm going to define what that is. And it's going to be something like, I'm guessing, it's going to be something that's healing work for you. Something brings you joy. Maybe you're a writer or an illustrator, or you are an athlete, and maybe it's about using your imagination. Maybe it's about being out in the physical reality, being in nature. Maybe it's possibly meditation, visualization. It could be acts of kindness. It could be prayer, affirmations, mantras. That's what you're referring to, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a way to shift and harness your energy in a way that allows you to control it rather than it control you. And the basis of that is harnessing our emotions, that emotional imbalance that can overtake us in those moments, those moments of anger, those moments of fear, those, just in those moments where the adrenaline takes over. If we don't have practices and procedures in place to create a balance and a foundation that, we can kind of fall back into and fall back on, then we could completely get derailed, in small instances. And rather than allow that to happen, have the processes and procedures in place that, rather than you get taken down with depression and anxiety for a week, maybe it still occurs, but maybe it's only a day. And then maybe from a day, maybe it's only 6 hours. And from 6 hours, maybe then you experience it to an hour. So then maybe you get it to a point where you experience it, and within moments you can release it. So that's what the process is about. And it's something that's not going to occur overnight, but it allows you to harness and control more of your energy. I believe it's kind of finding the balance between the spiritual being that we are and the human being, and finding that blend. And there's so many human emotions and so much of the human being that can really throw us off, and it can really take us out of that energetic alignment that, the soul and the spiritual self can truly make a, can, when we harness that and we allow that to blend into the human body, that's the sweet spot. That's where all the magic starts to happen. And in that is the process and procedures, and getting those into place and making it a daily routine. It's like anything else. And we always talk about this. It's like learning and getting more skills and more aptitude in a certain area, like, sitting on a piano, playing, my piano right here. First time I sat at it, I could hit some random notes that sounded horrible. Maybe a couple of them sounded good. And over time you practice. Now you can understand the structure of how a song is formed. Now you get to the point where you can write a song, and then you get to the point where you can hear a song and know what it is and repeat it, or you can, take that information and just create a whole new energetic form from it. So it's just like anything else. Working with this psychic energy, it's a process and procedure, and it's a skill that we learn and we grow with over time.
Also, it might be helpful if you have someone around you that's supportive, and they share with you, or they do something positive for you, might be uplifting too.
Yeah.
I had these guided meditations that I used to listen to, and I completely forgot about them. And yesterday and the day before, I turned them on, and and this woman's voice, which I think is valuable for me because I heard it so many times, and she's talking about the breathing, and then she's saying, and let go of all your thoughts, let them all float away. And I think I did that a few times.
Yeah.
A combination of a couple of these holistic modalities and processes must have triggered something. And then I turned a corner because I said, how am I going to do the show tonight? I have bad days too. I mean, I'm not, everything isn't all roses all the time. So I said, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? And I just do it. And part of it is actually doing the activity of preparing and then following through. And maybe that will lift you up and out of it. Okay, so should we get going? Because we're going to have Alexandra LeClere, who is an author tonight, and she is the author of Seeing the Dead, Talking with Spirits, Shamanic Healing Through Contact with the Spirit World. And she's a clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient energy healer who uses her connection with the spirit world through seeing and hearing and sensing. And we had her on episodes ago last year. I also want to remind everybody, eyeofthespirits.com to reach Michael Edley, and I'm maryamyofficial.com. And we'll remind everyone who's coming. We have guests all through March. Okay, so let's talk to Julie. Is Julie out there?
Yes.
Hi, Julie.
Hi.
What is up, Julie? How are
Hi.
you? Thank you for calling Two Psychics.
Well, thanks for having me.
Let me move my screen over there so I have us there. All right. So did you have a certain question or a certain scenario thing that you wanted us to kind of get into on an energetic level?
No, this is I'm very new to this. I'm very new to
Okay.
this. My friend recommended me to you guys, and I'm just here for the experience. And
nice.
Yeah, and that's it.
All right, cool. So basically what we're going to do then, we'll just connect on an energetic level, and Mary and I will just, from your collective energy, I guess we'll read what we're seeing in it. If there's anything in particular you want to get into, if we start seeing energy leading us in a particular direction,
Sure.
Yes, but yeah, so what we'll do first is just if you can slowly say your first name, and we're going to actually connect on an energetic level to your collective energy.
Julie.
Okay, Julie. All right, so what's interesting, there few things first. So and as I connect to your energy, I'm being drawn to the Northeast. Where are you calling from?
New York.
You are New York. Okay, so I'm pulling to the Northeast. Okay, I have to ask about a connection going up into either Niagara, Buffalo, or like Canada, pulling me up into Canada, maybe even Toronto. That's around. I feel like there's grandma energy around this, and it could be like mom's side of the family. Is there family connection to like Niagara or Canada, Toronto, that area?
Yes, Hamilton, my grandmother.
Ah, grandma. Okay, exactly. That's what I was feeling. So that's why I tried kind of explaining the energy. Now, grandma is in spirit, that grandmother that I'm connecting to
She
there?
is in spirit.
Okay. All right. So that's definitely who we have. Now, is she connected to your mom's side of the family?
My father.
She's connected to your father's side of the family. Okay, interesting. When I connect, so let me just see where grandma's energy is pulling me.
My father also lives in northern Michigan.
Okay, cool. So he's up there too. All right, excellent. So what's interesting though, with grandmother's energy, she's bringing my awareness to mom's. And so I have to ask, is mom going through like a particular situation or scenario? Has there been like any kind of medical testing, a move, like some kind of energetic shift that's going on around her that grandma would be bringing my awareness to and kind of connecting you to that?
Well, my mom has passed. She
Okay.
passed 7 years ago.
Okay, so interesting.
They were very close.
Okay, so okay. So what's interesting is I never know what spirit's going to come through. I never
Sure.
know how they're going to come through. But what's very interesting is even though I'm not directly connecting to mom, I'm connecting to grandmother's energy, which is definitely kind of making me aware of mom's energy and mom's energy being there. What's interesting is um, is there an S or an SH around mom, or is there someone else around you with that? The significance of that S initial, does that have anything to do with mom?
My mom is Sue.
Oh, excellent. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So I have Sue. So Sue coming in with the S. That's why when I start connecting with spirit, I try, pulling in the evidence. Now I know nothing about you. I know nothing about family and spirit. So I can tell you the S connecting you to mom, Sue. So Sue is here. Grandma, it's kind of, and what happens is I connect to grandma's energy first and she starts establishing the link. And it could be because she's been gone longer, she kind of understands it, or just I have a deeper connection to her frequency. But as she opens that connection, she brings mom's energy through, and that's what she shows me the S. What's interesting is there's also a small little dog coming through with mom's energy, and it's like a tan or white. I don't know if this is like, I keep on thinking Benji, and I keep on thinking like Wizard of Oz symbolism, and I'm actually seeing some of that symbolism. Now, I don't know if that's the exact dog or they're trying to bring me to something around like Wizard of Oz, Kansas, Dorothy. Is there some connection to you and the Wizard of Oz, or like a small dog, like a little terrier kind of dog or something?
No, I don't think so.
Interesting. Did mom have was there a small dog that she was connected to maybe as a child, or you wouldn't have any connection to a small, like
Not
a small
small dog. I was raised with larger dogs.
Larger dog. Interesting. Okay, so maybe I'm seeing it a little off. I don't know, but why would I be seeing like Wizard of Oz symbolism, Kansas, Dorothy, the Wizard of Oz? Is there any significance to that? Like, is that something you and mom experienced, like as you were a kid? Were you in like that play? She's bringing my awareness to the Wizard of Oz, and I'm trying to see what the symbolism is around that. I was seeing the dog first, so there's definitely some dog connection, or I don't know if you're connected to someone that's going to be getting like a little terrier dog, and she's showing us that first to kind of validate this reading. And weird stuff like that comes through in reading sometimes. So I have to talk about two things now with mom's energy, where she's pulling me to. So small dog, small like terrier dog, and I don't know what the symbolism is for that or what that is. It may be something that you're not aware of first, and since you don't know of a small dog in spirit, I don't want to focus too much time on that, but I want to mention it. But I want to talk about, is there a connection to you and the Wizard of Oz, or mom and the Wizard of Oz, or collectibles, or Kansas? I'm trying to think of where they would be bringing me to with that, like why they're showing me that.
I think the last Halloween dress that she made for my daughter before she passed away was a Dorothy costume.
Okay. All right. So I appreciate that validation. So that's what she's doing. So mom is imprinting a memory on me of something that was very, very important to her. And it was I would say a very special connection to you and your daughter and mom, So I want to honor that connection because she's bringing me back to that. So I don't know if you've recently came across it, or like your daughter had talked about it, or just be aware of that and like that connection. And maybe like, have you seen that recently, or has that been something like you got rid of, or it's put away and you haven't seen it and maybe you'll come across it? I'm just trying to see, is there...
Actually really funny because I was cleaning out my dresser the other day and I have a pair of shorts. So they're blue and white checked.
Okay.
And they look just like Dorothy's dress.
Okay.
And
all right. So
I was contemplating throwing them out because they're very, very short. And my husband does not like me wearing them out a lot.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. No, that's cool. So what's fun? Yeah, you should have kept them. And it's funny because that's what I feel like mom's bringing me to. So this is really interesting. And I love when this happens because what this is completely is mom showing you that, I mean, she's around you. So if there was any concern or any, I would say, grief around, is mom still watching over me? Is she connected? Is she around? Is she okay? Absolutely. 100%. And I think in this reading, look at the spirit realm and our loved ones want to vicariously live through life with us. And we all grieve in different ways. There's no right or wrong way to grieve, but I can absolutely tell you it's imperative that we understand they're always around us, and I think we can, when we have a validation and confirmation of that, like what mom's trying to bring through here, I just think it helps us look at things differently. And we can always, I think we just can always smile knowing they're around. And I think that's what she's saying to you right now. Like, I'm around, I see what's going on with the family. I'm not gone. So I don't know. Is that like a question you've been asking, or is that like, have you been feeling like disconnected, or mom, give me a sign kind of thing? Or like what's...
I guess, I mean, I do feel her presence. I do feel her in my life. It was just a very tragic way that she passed.
I have to ask you a little bit about this. And I mean, if you're okay with going, it's because what's interesting is before the show, I always meditate before, I'm not sure what kind of readings we're going to end up doing on the show. If it's just going to be straight up psychic type stuff, if, I'm going to open the meditative thing and mediumship stuff's going to start coming through like it is now. And I just sit and I just kind of, at this point, I just kind of pushed it. It's like a knob, the volume knob. It's at 1 all the time, but you turn it up.
Right.
And when I was sitting earlier, I had a lot of stuff coming to me, like around the pandemic and around people not being able, like being separated from a loved one at like end of life, not being able to be there end of life. And like, there wasn't some like closure. I'm wondering if that was energy for you. Was there like, were you not able to be with her towards the end? Was there something around?
No, I was able to be with her. So she had a brain tumor, had surgery on it, and was left completely with all of her faculties, or like her brain, whatever. But she had a stroke, so she could not talk, she couldn't eat, she couldn't swallow.
Wow. Okay.
For 6 months, we couldn't really communicate. It was very difficult, and it was hard because she chose to go into hospice. She chose her own life. She didn't want to do this anymore, but we really couldn't discuss it with her. And it's just kind of like left a void where is she? Is she okay? Is she,
So let me just share a little bit of the energy that I sense around it, because I think it's important. Like, if we have a really good connection to her, and for her to give me the name coming in, her initial, and us connecting at that level, I think it's important. I want to share a little bit of the energy that like she's imprinting on me, that I feel. I feel like she didn't want to burden the family, like burden you with having to make like really crucial decisions. Now, is there also I feel like she's mentioning, is there a sister? Is there also the sister? Okay.
Sarah.
Okay. Because she's also talking about your sister. And it's weird. I don't know if she felt like if she had put a lot, I feel like she really kind of like the energy was almost like she selfishly did this kind of thing. But I truly think in what may seem selfish in a way, like she took control and didn't give anybody the option of input and how this should be. I really feel like she felt it would be very hard. And I feel like the grief, I don't know if there would be fallout between you and your sister, and someone would have said, we should have done it this way, we should have done it this way. So I feel like the way she approached it was what she felt would be of least conflict to the family. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I have to share, like, that's the energy she imprints on me. Like, she felt like she kind of had to control and harness this.
Right.
So it eliminated the burden from the family. Like, that's kind of the energy that keeps on being imprinted to me. Now, the interesting thing is she's also talking about what's the deal with August? Is there August? Is it August significant? August, September, August? I don't know why I'm being pulled to August 18th or like August 1/8. Is there something to the August 18th or August 1st, like August 18th? I'm trying.
August 24th is a big day. Well, that's my nephew's birthday, or her grandson. August 18th. I don't know.
Okay, so August, very like she's bringing my attention to August.
Okay.
Just be aware of the 18th. Be aware of the 1/8.
Okay.
So, and this could also be when I'm getting that August significant, but be aware of 18 even being, could be a building number, could be a street address, could be, so there's something with the 1/8 as I'm seeing, like she's imprinting that number to me for you. And I feel like there's significance around August. So I just know she's so connected and there's so much love and support around you, the family, her watching over your daughter, like all these connections. And I think that's why she wanted to imprint a lot of these memories on me. But I want to hand this off to Mary Amy. Mary, what are you picking up on an energetic level?
Can you see me?
I can. Yes.
Okay. Hello. How are you, Julie?
Hi.
Hi, I'm Mary. Okay, so immediately I saw a fence, which symbolizes protection and establishing your boundaries, and a train track, and you're going through transitions and growth, and you're making progress. You're moving towards and you're chasing goals that you don't want to miss out on. There's an urgency to you right now because you're coming out of some place that you've fallen into, and you've realized that. You've come to a lot of realizations. I sensed that there were these pieces, these clouds, and all the clouds are coming together. And it's about an escape from reality and a desire for freedom, unlimited. Like, in other words, a new version of you is coming forward. I heard friends plus friends plus friends, and then there's a romance. Your friends are very supportive and they assist you, and you have this romance with this attraction, and you need this connection of intimacy. You need that. Children, love. You are someone, Julie, who has to have time alone to expand. So moments alone equals success for you. You're someone who is, what I'm sensing is you're someone that does need the quiet time, and you're a powerhouse when you get the
Yes. I'm very much a self-soother.
Exactly. And I saw these beautiful picturesque mountains, and it's about significant challenges and large obstacles that you have. You have a very keen awareness of yourself. You're confident, you believe in yourself. You can actually spike other people's energy by being around them. You are someone that your friends go to for their emotions, and that can deplete you. You're empathic. You have a strong sense of yourself. You're very positive, and you resonate with others. And people really like to have you around. Do you have any questions?
No, I don't. And this has been just a really great experience, you guys. I just like to hear that. It's amazing. It is really cool. Thank you.
Never know what's going to happen when you call two psychics, Julie, but sometimes it's very interesting. No, so I just want to add one tiny thing. What's interesting, when you were talking to Mary and she was bringing through some of the energetic read for you, I kept on seeing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle symbolism. And so what's the deal with that? And what's the connection to Mom and like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Well, her favorite thing in the whole wide world was turtles.
Okay, cool.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm not. Well, she wanted me to bring through the turtles and the Mutant Ninja Turtle thing. So what's funny is, be aware of that as a sign from Mom, whether it's a turtle, mutant ninja turtle, some weird turtle crossing, just be aware of that. Like, if you're thinking about her and Mom, give me a sign, it's not always going to be exactly what we want or what we're expecting. You know, it's not always going to be that cardinal that lands right in front of us, or every day for 2 weeks we find that penny when we open our car door. I mean,
Right.
those things are beautiful, and it's great when spirit can work in that way. But it's funny because mom is imprinting the turtle on me. So and what's funny is I was seeing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So be aware
Well,
of that turtle.
okay.
Oh, what is it? No, what is it, Julie?
No. That it's funny because my mom loved turtles and everything, and it's so funny because I have teenagers and I call them sometimes my mutant.
Okay, so there could be dual meaning from mom in that. It's
Yes.
kind of, she's watching over your turtles and she wants to honor the turtle
Maybe.
connection, you know. But yeah, I mean, she's truly a loving energy and she's very connected to you. So if in any way, shape, or form you feel like you're disconnected to her, I would definitely say start doing what you can to connect on an intuitive level. You know, start just practicing like psychic connection. So look, go to Eye of the Spirits with Michael Edley on Facebook, or go to Two Psychics. Check out some of the stuff that I'm doing on there, some of the exercises, some of the daily practices and routines.
I absolutely will.
And that will empower you to kind of make these connections. Because I can tell you, if mom is coming through this clearly to me, she's very connected to you. Otherwise, I wouldn't be getting this clear of a connection. So, yeah, so I think you just need to really sit with the energy of mom and start working with that connection. And don't discredit anything, and don't think of things that are happening as coincidences. When we start opening this connection to our loved ones in spirit, I can tell you they're not coincidences. So just be open, be present, and start doing a daily practice where you're, you know, connecting to your loved ones' energy. And I guarantee you'll start seeing the signs more and more. Just like she's imprinting that, you know, that turtle connection to me, she'll do the same things with you, you know, and it'll be even more intimate and personal with your connection because there's so much more. She's got a vast pool of knowledge of everything that you and her connected with, you know, and she could bring those experiences back into your energy field. So if there was something that was a very strong bond for you and her, or something that was very connected to her, she may try to connect through those means, you know. So another thing, it's interesting, as I'm connecting to your energy and her energy, she's just imprinting a little more and more. So I just want to sit with, I want you to sit with one last thing, and that would be, I feel like she's imprinting. I don't know if you have a shawl or a scarf, or this is like an overcoat or something of her. I feel like there's some, like you're wearing this. I feel like I'm putting on like mom's sweatshirt, mom's shawl, mom's overcoat.
Yes.
What? Okay, so what is that item that she's showing me that you have of hers? Is this
so well, in northern Michigan, she had this closet. I mean, it's cold there, so she has a sweatshirt closet. Like she always had like whatever. We kept that closet.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And we all share her sweatshirts and we put them on. Yeah, like when I'm in northern Michigan, I'll wear them, but I have some here that I wear when I think of her and I want to feel her close. I'll put on a sweatshirt.
Well, she's obviously connecting to you through that because she's imprinting that on me. You know, like I don't know anything about that. You guys keeping her close. So that's how it works, you know?
Yeah.
And she truly wants to validate her connection to you by imprinting all this evidence, you know, that I could share with you. So sit with her close, even any of her loved ones that are here in the physical that want to connect to her energy. There's something called psychometry. We could take, you know, a ring, a coat, a jacket, a scarf, whatever it may be of our loved ones, even sitting in, you know, an old piece of furniture that was theirs, you know, sitting at their desk, sitting at their chair. And their energy, it holds a heavy energetic connection to whatever that item is. And a lot of times that can help us connect and, you know, feel the energetic, it's feeling their presence in the energy of that item. That's really what it comes down to. So sit with that, you know, and truly like just connect. Mom, give me a sign, because she's there. She is so connected to you. So just do your due diligence to start working on your psychic abilities. Just to connect to mom, you know. And that's why I feel like you called in tonight. I really feel like you needed this validation to start kind of taking your connection with mom to the next level, you know?
No, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you.
And we really appreciate it.
And well, thank you very much. You guys have been just amazing. I have tears in my eyes, and I think I'm going to sleep very well tonight.
Thank you so much for calling, and we really appreciate that, Julie.
Thank you, Mary and Michael. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
You too.
Bye.
it's kind of crazy when, when you get the connections like that and you could truly validate like who's around somebody without knowing anything about them. And, that's really what it's about. I think when people can understand that death is such a fallacy, death is not the end. It's just a transition, and we're still connected to our loved ones, and they want to connect to us as much as we can connect to them. And I can tell you, on a really deep energetic level, if you didn't have a connection with a loved one and they're in spirit, you can reawaken and you can reignite that connection into a new beautiful thing that maybe it wasn't that when you were here with them in the physical. So there's a lot that could be done with it.
Okay, so I just sent a message. It's so weird because Alexandra's in the waiting room, but we have to talk about what spirit's about. And Alexandra LeClere, our guest, and I went on, I hit the waiting room, and all of a sudden I heard buzzing in my ear, like she's sending me a vibration, like I'm here. So I wrote, hold on. So let me just say
that was her telepathic ping to you to let you know.
Yeah, I'm just gonna explain. Yeah, I don't know how this is gonna go. Well, we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna explain talking with spirits, and then we're gonna bring her in. So talking with spirits, and Michael, because you do this, and this was a lesson for me because I do have spirits come to me every day. I just haven't been communicating with them, and I still have some fear attached to that, and I think it's about opening up. I don't know why. It might be because I had those near-death experiences and it makes me uncomfortable because there's something there that I'm trying to figure out. So talking with spirits, communicating with spirits, relatives, ancestors, guides, otherworldly beings, and nature spirits. Communicate with the spirit realm. The spirit world, through thoughts and feelings, receive messages with an open heart and open mind. Empaths are mediums, connecting with higher vibration in the spirit world through clairsenses, clairvoyance, clairempathy, clairaudience, the passings of a loved one. Why do you talk and communicate with spirits? Well, here's one way. Now, I'm just giving you some examples. Michael has his own technique, I'm sure, and he can share that, and we can hear from Alexandra as well. So go into a quiet room or nature, ground yourself, which I'm thinking of this for myself to be able to communicate because I'm not seeming to allow that to happen. And I'm curious, why not? Ground yourself, sage, clear your energy, focus on your breathing, center yourself, have balance, imagine your feet in the ground, and this is all a suggestion, visualize a golden light surrounding you. Send light through all your chakras, your earth chakra, which is below your feet, your root, sacral, solar plex, throat, third eye, crown, soul, star, spirit star, universal, galactic, divine gateway chakra. Ask for protection, maybe use a prayer, some gold or white light, and ask the spirit to come closer, set an intention. Feel vibration closer. What is the essence? If you're trying to communicate with the spirit, ask for a name, cause of death, image, many question, words to identify them. Pay attention to whatever impressions come through your intuitive senses. You can ask telepathically or verbally questions and listen. There'll be energy signals, thoughts, words, images, feelings, sensations, and speak or write them down. Nope, that's not her. Thank them for the messages. Now, sometimes you mention this, Michael, you can use a personal item, like maybe someone's glasses, how do you pronounce it? Psychometry, right?
Psychometry. Yes, psychometry.
Photographs. Now that you can also use divination tools, tarot cards, oracle cards, pendulums, and you hopefully are going to be given messages, answered questions. There's what's called how do you say it? Scrolling, which is
scrying. Yeah. It's interesting.
You can use a crystal ball. Words will appear. You can have automatic writing, which you just automatically are writing down whatever you're receiving. It's kind of, you're in a trance. You can utilize dream work, communicate through dreams. You can ask for guidance. So what will be signs that it's actually you're communicating with spirits? Synchronicities, signs, you feel a presence, sounds, sensations. Always have gratitude when you close the connection. And that's what I found out, which I've never investigated this because, like I said, there's some kind of block I'm intentionally doing. I see them, I feel very comfortable with seeing them. I'm like, hey, how are you? But I'm not going to the vibration to receive a communication. And I'm getting anxiety just thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? That's something to meditate on, and just sit and meditate with that and think of like that energetic block, what you feel is an energetic block. Just sit with it because it may be guiding you and directing you in a certain way or to approach it in a certain way. So I think just sit with that and just see what comes to you on an intuitive level about that. And it's funny because like that's really a lot of that's a block that a lot of people have. A lot of people are nervous or unsure or fearful because what is this? Who's going to come in? Who's going to connect? And it's a process like anything else, and it's a process that we have to learn and utilize the different techniques. But there's truly nothing to be fearful, in that. And so that's why I say just sit with that and just see like what is your own intuition telling you around that, and why is it, why is there fear or anxiety around that energy? And I think it's what I love about that is when our body is drawing our attention to that. It's bringing our attention to that for a reason. Like it wants you to look at that and investigate that a little bit and show you, there's definitely insight and guidance and uncovering some real deep truth.
I just found out why. I think I just realized by you saying that, I just got the answer.
And sometimes that's all it takes is just in a moment we do, and then
Got the answer.
with it.
I know why. I know why. I'll talk to you after. All right. So should we let Alexandra in now?
Yes.
Let her in now that I sent her away. Let's see. Can I hit this? Admit. Okay. Let's see.
Bring Alexandra in, and maybe
Alexandra LeClere, and she is the one who does the sweat lodges. Maybe we'll hear about that.
Yeah, I want to hear about that.
Hello, Alexandra. Let's see. Where are you? Hi. Can you see us?
Hi, how are you? It's great to see you.
Hello, Alexandra. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing?
Good, excellent. It's a pleasure to have you here with us at Two Psychics. And this is your second time around with us, right? And now we can actually see you.
Yeah, it's wonderful to be here. Yeah.
Yes, excellent. So what's been going on? Tell us a little bit about from last time to now. I hear there's a new book in the works, or it's released, or
this is the first book we're talking about tonight.
Yeah, this is the last time we got together, we talked about my book, Healing Wisdom from the Afterlife.
Yes.
And this is a book that was just released recently.
Okay.
We talked about that one. And the one we're going to talk about now is, we can talk about both of them if you want.
We can. Yeah, we can talk a little bit about both.
Is Seeing the Dead, Talking with Spirits. And this is my first book that I wrote a number of years ago. And this book is really excellent for people who are opening up to their gifts. And I believe everybody has a gift to be able to communicate with spirits.
Amen. Mm-hmm.
And so this book really documents how I opened up to my abilities. And I give tips on how people can do that. So many people have read my book and told me, oh, I could have written that book. It sounds just like my experiences. That's wonderful. I love it. So that's really fun.
Excellent.
So, Seeing the Dead, Talking with Spirits. It was funny because I wanted to call this book Finding Joy. And it was my publisher that decided that this was a better title. But communicating with spirits is all about finding joy.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Learning this wonderful new language that opens up a wonderful universe for people, or to just make life so much better.
Absolutely. It shifts everything and it gives you a completely different mindset no matter what you're approaching, right? When you start embracing that magnificent psychic energy and that intuitive divine
Right.
realm that's inside, you know? And
Yes, yes. And what really is wonderful is when people have the sense of being alone, and then when they do break through, all of a sudden, they're never alone.
mm, yeah,
And it just
absolutely.
is wonderful because, usually we feel the worst when, and most alone when we have challenges to face in life. And if we do have this communication with the spirit world, we're never alone. So in
Mm,
those moments, we can be rescued by our spirit guide to come forward and say, hey, 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 wait a minute, wait a minute. Look, there are all these wonderful things that are going on, and your future holds some wonderful things too, and can even share some of that with you. So
absolutely.
it's wonderful for providing a whole different outlook on life, because sometimes we get cornered and we just kind of see things from one perspective. And this way we can open up to a whole different perspective
Mm,
and a whole new life, really. It's wonderful. I just love it. I just love
abs-
it.
absolutely. That sums it up perfectly. But what I find curious is always the path that a medium's on, and the path that kind of our life twists and turns that ends up putting us on that path that leads us to being a medium, leads us on that spiritual journey. Can you share with our listeners a little bit of what your spiritual journey was and what led you to where you are now?
Right. Well, I was living in France for about 17 years, and I had a television production company. And I moved to the States with my husband and three children, and had another child here in the States. And I sort of became I was still doing the television production, but I was also a soccer mom, driving kids here and there in the suburbs and all of that. And I fell ill. I had fibroids. I was hemorrhaging so badly. I was severely anemic. I went to see several gynecologists who all told me that I needed this surgery to have, a hysterectomy, which of course I didn't want, who would? And one of them said, well, I put people in the hospital with higher iron levels than you have. And if you don't have this surgery, you're going to drop dead in the street. And I thought, drop dead in the street, have the surgery. I'll try the surgery, right? So I lined that up. And then a friend said, oh, why don't you go see a healer? And I, at that point, didn't even know that healers existed in the Western world. I thought, maybe out far east or something, they might have some healers there. So anyway, I went to see Penny Lyshan, who is a healer in Manhattan, and she facilitated my healing. I never had the surgery. It was quite remarkable. And then being a television producer, I wanted to do a documentary about her and about healers in general, because it seemed to me that a lot of people could heal simply with the help of healers. So I started to look at different healers around and found out that there are really a lot of energy healers around. And the first time that I went to audit class for veteran healers, I only was able to go the second day. And during the day, they were talking about channeling different kinds of energies and colors and all of this stuff. And I was totally, totally overwhelmed. I mean, totally, totally overwhelmed. So I was getting a little annoyed and thinking to myself, oh gosh, I could just, I don't understand any of this stuff. And at the end of the day, they were doing a closure ceremony for the one of the healers there who had lost a loved one. Now, there were three people sitting in a circle of four chairs. The fourth chair was a candle, a lit candle, and the keys of the deceased woman. And there was an older man, a younger man, and a woman there. And all I knew was that this was the mother of one of them. So we walked around one way, the other way, and then the man who had organized the whole thing said, I hope that, and the woman's name was Vivian, I hope her spirit is here so she can see how much we all care for her. And at that moment, I just believed that all healers could see spirits. I just kind of, that's just what I thought. And I was so annoyed that I hadn't been able to do anything and understand anything that was going on during the day, that I really wanted to see her. And I was like, I really wish I could see her. I really, really, really wish I could see her. And all of a sudden, I saw a woman who was standing next to the woman who was seated, and the woman who was seated was crying. The woman who was standing next to her seemed to be trying to comfort her, trying to put her arms around her. And of course, the woman who was crying had no idea that this other person was near her. But I knew it was her mother. And so I was so proud of myself. I piped up and I said, I know she's here. I can see her. Well, and I thought I could just do what everybody else could. Well, it turned out that I had it confirmed. It was the mother of the woman and not the other two people. And that on top of it, I was the only one who saw her. And this made everybody feel really happy that I had seen her. Though, of course, the mother, the woman whose mother it was delighted, to hear that her mother's spirit was actually there. And the other people in the group were all feeling very happy for me that I saw her, and I felt really good about it. And I think that's really key to communicating with spirits. It's that you really need to feel like all of this is okay and that it's safe and that it's all good. So I went home and I told my husband, well, I saw, I saw a ghost today, the spirit of this woman, and he said, okay, and it was like, and I felt good. The next thing that happened to me was a little less comfortable. All of a sudden, I started to see a Native American standing next to me. Now, I didn't have any experience with Indigenous people ever in my life, and certainly not in France. And so for me to all of a sudden see this Native American man with, complete with the headdress and feathers, and next to me all the time, I couldn't not see him. I thought I was going crazy. So I mentioned to my husband, I see this Native American chief standing next to me all the time. And my husband said, oh, and I thought, this is not a good thing. Yeah, but the universe always sends you a teacher when you need it. And so I was interviewing healers, and I saw Melanie Noblick Gambino from Somers, and she said, well, I'll just give you a session. And I was like, okay, cool. And so Melanie said, all right, tell me about your day. I thought, all right, well, there's this about my son. And then I see this Native American standing next to me all the time. Then there's that about my daughter. And she's, wait a minute. What is that last thing you said? I thought, oh, she's gonna, call reinforcements here to get me. I thought, well, here goes. And I said, well, I see this Native American standing next to me all the time. And she said, oh, yes, I can see him too. I was like, oh, I can't believe it. This is great. Crazy. It really exists. This is wonderful. And she said, why don't you ask him his name? And I thought, why would I want to do that? wasn't it enough that I saw him and I couldn't, and he was always there, and then I had all of the old fears that people can have, that when you hear voices, they tell you to do bad things and they're all bad and it's all negative and it's scary and everything. And so I didn't want to do that. And she said, "Oh, no, go ahead, ask him his name." And I was thinking about it. And so mentally, I asked him his name. And then what I heard from him was, was Tonka. And to me, Tonka is a toy truck manufacturer because I have sons. So I thought, I can't say that to her. And so I didn't want to say anything. She said, "Well, I know it starts with a T." I thought, whoa, all right. And so I said, "Well, it's Tatanka." And she said, "Yes, that's great. That's buffalo in Lakota." Who knew? And so that's the way I met my spirit guide, Tatanka. And so once you break through that veil, then you can contact anybody. And it's so wonderful and really a tremendous help to life and to well-being and fantastic, just absolutely fantastic. So, it was because I was in both times as I opened up to seeing and to hearing at clairaudient and clairvoyance, then it was because I felt comfortable and I had people around me who were very supportive about it and thought it was all wonderful. So that's tremendously important, tremendously important.
Yeah. I think as a developing medium or psychic or any kind of healer, I think it's so important to have that support structure, that development group around us, be in that safe space to practice. And I think that's one of the biggest things as a medium. I think we all go through that, that fear. Are people going to think we're crazy? Are people going to think this is something evil? There's all these preconceived notions and we get so caught up in our head. But I think once we get over that hump, then we're pretty unstoppable in the spiritual connection and the work that we can do.
Right. And what I always encourage people to do is before they do any kind of spiritual work is that they make a connection with a higher benevolent power. It doesn't matter what it is, if it's religious or not, or, but just make that connection with a higher benevolent power, and then you're golden.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. Now, what I'm curious to know, did you have family members that were very psychic or very intuitive, like mom, grandmom? Did you have that realization that there was this spiritual realm really early on and that people could experience this, or was this something that you really didn't see unfold until later in life? Or what was the scenario?
As a child, I had at one point my best friend moved away, and I was really little, like maybe 5 years old, something like that. And I had an imaginary playmate. Now, retrospect, I believe that this was a little spirit, a young spirit who just was there. And so I would play with her, and she was very real to me. My mother got worried and took me to see a doctor. And the doctor said that I shouldn't do that, and it was very bad. And so, I mean, I was a good little girl, so I just stopped it.
Yeah.
Stopped it completely. And then that's why it didn't open up again for me until I had that initial healing, I think, with the about the fibroids, and I had that initial healing that opened up things for me anyway, not only healing my body, but kind of generally opening me up to spirit. And then after that to have those experiences where I could open up to my gifts in a very safe space with people around who I trusted and who were supportive. first, well, the healing with Penny Leishon, then the session with Melanie Noblet Gambino. Or well, before then was the auditing that group, of healers, energy healers, and then the session with Melanie. So in those contexts, I felt comfortable and I could really develop my skills, my talents. And that's what I do for people now. I mean, people come to see me for a lot of different reasons, and some of those reasons are simply to help develop their own personal gifts, because they have, maybe they've seen a spirit or felt a spirit or heard a spirit, and they want to go farther with it. And actually, I do a mediumship group every month on the fourth Thursday in New Rochelle. And that's where we just get together and I help people to develop their skills. And people will come and they think, well, I can't do any of this. And then all of a sudden be surprised because they really know a lot. I also do a monthly virtual mediumship group on the second Tuesday of the month. So I'm doing one, on the second Tuesday. And if anybody is interested in participating, just check out my website. It's www.alexandraleclere.com. And it's Alexandra, and last name is LECLERE.com. So, well, participate in that because it's really quite a fun group we have. We always have a good time.
And I think that's important. You have to have fun with it. And I think that's one thing that's really important. People need to understand it's a learning growth process. It's small steps, and like anything else, because I'm a musician, I always compare it to, piano or guitar, and everyone's going to have their own natural style. And then we build and we learn other styles and we incorporate different things. But it's a process of learning and expanding. And I think we're always growing, right? Don't you think that that's kind of the process,
Right. Yeah. I mean, I had a woman come, and she was a pretty good at communicating with spirits. And what she would do when she wanted to communicate with the spirit is that she would imagine that she'd ask the spirit to put their hand on her shoulder. And then once she had the hand on the shoulder, then she could see the hand. And then she was really good because if there were rings or something, she could read those very well. And then she would just gradually follow the arm and then see the person. So that's an interesting way of doing it. There's also, just seeing it, or sometimes people can just hear a spirit saying things or just know things from a spirit. So or they could smell something from a spirit, like perfume or tobacco.
Yeah, that old cigar, right? That old cigar or something.
Exactly, or the pipe,
Yeah.
that's pipe tobacco.
No, it's funny, and that's the most beautiful thing, though. Spirit will utilize all of our knowledge, all of our memories, everything we know to try to get that little piece of information across, and it may not mean anything to us, but could mean everything to the sitter, and it's a beautiful process,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It just sort of reminds me of when I first was opening up to my gifts, I was getting lots and lots of messages that I absolutely had to give to people. And after a while, I learned to control that. So I wouldn't, because when spirits come and they have messages to give, then they get very adamant about it, but they're, as you're saying, these messages can absolutely change their lives. And I remember that there was a young woman I met, and I met her and her boyfriend, and Spirit kept telling me that I needed to tell her that she was perfect despite the circumstances of her birth. Now, as far as I knew, she was the eldest of 5 children, and that her parents, her father was a plastic surgeon and her mother is an attorney. And so this is a very wealthy family and a very tight-knit, loving family, as far as I could tell, right? And I told her that, the message. And then her boyfriend later came to me and said, "What did you say to her?" And I was like, "Well, I just told her that she was perfect despite the circumstances of her birth." And he said, "Well, her parents hate each other and nobody gets along with anybody. And she feels that she's the first one, and her parents got married because her mother got pregnant with her. And so she feels like she ruined her mother's life." And hear this information that she was perfect just changed everything for her and took off this huge burden, which she didn't deserve at all. So it was wonderful. So that's the kind of way that these messages can be very helpful to people.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they can heal in a way nothing else can, and it really truly is its own avenue for healing. But so I know we're taking you on a tangent all over the place and we got all these questions. So Mary Amy, I know you want to segue into the book, so we're gonna hand this
Well,
over
there's a
to you a
couple
little
things.
bit.
First of all, before you came on, I spoke a bit about talking with spirits, and I did some research, and I have spirits come to me every night, and I haven't pursued speaking to them, but they come to me, and I usually hear something, but I'm not having a conversation. And I did the research for the subject tonight, and I said, okay, I'm going to pursue this, but I have some kind of weird thought, like I have a pause about doing the communication part. And then Michael spoke before you came on. Michael said, well, maybe if you meditate on it, and all of a sudden he's saying that, and I realized why I don't want to do the communication part. So I figured that out. So now I know. And then I put you in the weight room. And when I did that, I got my ear vibrated, and it was like you were sending me a message, just so you know. I got some kind of message from you.
Yeah.
And after hearing what you had to say, I would like to join that group, because I would like to definitely be open to it. Now I know why I was blocking it. It might just tonight I might be like, whoa, there might be 1,000 of them coming through and talking, but that's not necessarily going to happen. Okay, so I want to join the group, and then I want to bring up the Sweat Lodge, because I've spoken about the Sweat Lodge on this show, and I've spoken about the benefits. It wasn't something for me. I've given a lot of explanations about it. And my question is this Native American Indian visiting during the Sweat Lodge? Is he there with you?
Yes.
There it is.
Yeah. Always. Yeah.
He's there. That's why it's really important to you to do the Sweat Lodge.
Oh yeah. It's something that I really feel that I have to do. It's really brought me a lot of support. And also, I mean, there's something that where I feel that in a way it really sort of saved my life, the Sweat Lodge, because I think I talk about it in my second book, Healing Wisdom from the Afterlife. At one point, I was supposed to do a sweat lodge, and I stepped out of the shower in the morning, and the world started to spin, and I couldn't stand up. I just was on the floor. I just couldn't move. It was just I was too nauseous. And so I kept thinking it was going to stop, but it didn't. And so I told my husband, you have to go tell the people at the sweat lodge that I'm not going to be able to make it because I'm not feeling well. And so he went there, and then I didn't get better. I just didn't get better. And so I when he got back, actually a few hours later, when he got back, I said, you really have to take me to the emergency room. And from the moment when I was trying to make my way to the car, I don't remember anything until the next morning when I woke up in my bed and my older daughter was there, and I had a terrible headache, um, and I couldn't walk straight. And so a friend came over and I went to the doctor. And when I got to my doctor, the doctor looked at me and he blanched and he sent me to get an MRI done. Now, I had just been to the hospital before and they, examined me and took x-rays and all that and didn't find anything. And so I said, but I just went to the hospital, and he said, it doesn't matter. Sometimes they miss things. And he thought I was having a stroke. And anyway, I went to the it I it and I went to get an MRI, and it didn't show anything. I was fine, but I couldn't walk straight by myself, and it took me a couple of months, 2 or 3 months, before I could walk without, needing to hold on to something. And I couldn't drive for about a month or two. But then it all came back. And in retrospect, thinking about that experience, and I realize now that I think we have exit points and potential exit points. And I think that was a potential exit point for me, where I because shortly after that, my life as I knew it fell apart. There are a lot of not so great things that happened. And I think that what happened with the sweat lodge was that when my husband went over to tell them that I wasn't going to make it, one of my friends there said, well, why don't we gather around and pray for her? And I think it was thanks to the prayers that they did in the sweat lodge for me that somehow I realized I have a support network. I have a support system so that regardless what's going to be happening to me in the future, I've got a support system to get me through it. And that's one of the reasons that I'm so dedicated to the Sweat Lodge now, because I'm really, really glad to be here now. And, life's gotten really good. So
I'm glad that you're here. I think you're awesome. I love you. And you are a real trooper. You don't give up. You keep going. You have so much discipline and consistency, and I love that about you. And you have great stories, and you have so much joy and love in your heart.
Well, it's really so joyful to be involved with the spirit world, It's just so wonderful. And I really like it so much, the work that I do working with clients, because they come in and they'll be all crumpled and confused and they leave with a smile. And I love that. That just makes me really, really happy. And then with the sweat lodge, it's a really healthy thing to do, to go in. I mean, it's like a sauna, but also with having a lot of spirits around too, who are there in a very helpful way. I mean, in the sweat lodge, uh, people are able to get rid of any kind of spirits that or anxieties and things like that. And so it's because the sweat lodge itself is full of kindness and support and goodness. And so, people go in with their problems and anxieties and, carrying all these traumas that they've experienced in life, because we all do at one point or another. And then inside the sweat lodge, it just can all be released. One of the reasons that I even started and continued going to the sweat lodge initially was because, in the production business, it can be very, very frustrating and very stressful. And if I was feeling stressed about getting something done or some work that needed to be done, if I go into the sweat lodge, I could actually release it. And then I'd come out of the sweat lodge and I'd be fine. It'd be like, this is going to work out. It's all cool. It's all good.
Helps
So,
rebalance the energy, right?
well, it's about really releasing.
Releasing and
Releasing.
And I think
we hold too many things,
yeah.
Eckhart Tolle talks about how we have, this pain body, which I describe as a bag of all the horrible, awful things that's ever happened to us. And we carry it in a bag on our shoulder here. And it's very easy to reach into it. And once we have that bag open, it's hard to close it. But you go in the sweat lodge and that's great. You're good. Then the bag is gone.
Yeah, that's awesome. Would you have one particular moment that was like a very divine experience in the sweat lodge that kind of opened or tuned you into some of your psychic abilities or some of your mediumship abilities?
Well, sometimes I'll channel as a Native American when I'm leading the sweat lodge. And that's, of course, fun. And I usually, when that happens, my voice changes a little bit. And, that's always interesting.
Yeah.
And, I think that basically in the sweat lodge, I mean, I just darkness, I see darkness leaving people, and then I just kind of wave it out, wave it out, wave it out, and then people feel better, Sometimes people have trouble releasing that darkness, it can be such a part of us that we can't let go of it, because it just, who are we if we don't have it, It's kind of like, that you have to, it's hard. It's to rebalance. It's hard to balance sometimes, balance, because if you've, it's kind of, if somebody has something on their arm or something, and like a boil or something there, and then you pierce it, then it could leave like a little hole, and it's like, oh, who wants a hole, right? But everything underneath it is healed, then it's kind of like it doesn't belong there anymore, and it's gone, and it's completely gone. That's what's really nice. That's what's really good.
Now, do you find most people have a breakthrough the first time they're in the sweat lodge, or is it a process after going several times?
It's very, very individual.
Yeah.
It really is very, very personal. Because because everybody is different, everybody's makeup is different, it's and the way it goes is that usually the first round is for most people is fine, and then the second round, the third round is the one where people are invited to share their prayer of why they're there. And as we get to the third round and people really start to think about why they're there, that's when their drama shows up. Why are you there? Like there's a woman who came to participate, and she was really, really upset because her son was moving away. And it was a kind of thing that she was very concerned that he would be okay. But she just had him. It was just the two of them, and he's moving away. And the thought of it made her sick. And so all of a sudden, when it came time to say her prayer, she flipped out, about it, kind of was like, and then once she had the prayer out, then all of a sudden everything got better and she was fine. But, so I think people feel that anxiety of what they're worried about. And then they release it. You get the point of, oh, it's hot. I want to get out of here. I don't know. And then if you stick through it, then the door opens and you're fine. And all of a sudden you somehow have a different perspective of like, things are going to be okay. And like for this woman, all of a sudden, she was saying, well, he's going to be good. He's all, and everything she was saying was completely different from what it had been before. And she understood this was important for him. It would be good for them both. And it was kind of amazing to see. But things like that are quite wonderful. We've had all kinds of things. There are people who wanted to get pregnant and are having miscarriages, and all of a sudden they were able to conceive. And in fact, one of my clients is very sweet. She had her baby, and then she brought the baby to the sweat lodge, and while the people were lining up to go inside the sweat lodge, she sat there with her baby, and she said, if you don't believe that the sweat lodge can turn bad to good, just look at my baby.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. That's incredible.
Yeah. So they're wonderful things. Yeah, it is quite an amazing experience. And we do it every weekend. No, once a month. We do it on Saturday, once a month in New Rochelle at the New Dawn Foundation. And we're doing one on March 8th, this Saturday, actually.
Oh, excellent. Now, if someone wants to participate in one of the Sweat Lodge events with you, how would they reach out to you or get in touch with you to participate?
Well, it's if you go to my website, www.alexandraleclere.com, and there isn't any dot or anything in between, and it's just ALEXANDRALECLERE, because LeClere is spelled, it's all E's. There isn't an A in there. It's
Excellent.
Website on the post, and the wherever it's posted, I'll add your website.
That I didn't get that. What is it?
I'll add your website wherever we post this.
Oh, okay.
So then
Great.
people can find
So anyone listening, if they weren't quick enough to write it down, we will have it in the fine print of Two Psychics Radio.
And you're the only one with that. And your website is the most prominent website that comes up.
Oh, excellent. That's good. I like that.
And maybe Michael will go to one of the sweat lodges.
I would love to. When my schedule opens, I'm definitely going to take a trip up. I definitely would like to experience that for sure.
Excellent. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, it's really, we do it once a month, we're going to do it. I mean, we do it rain or shine. So in any kind of weather, snow.
It's a shame you can't take it on the road and bring it down to the Jersey Shore.
Yeah, we'd have to build a new one,
Yeah,
we have to build a new one.
that's
Yeah.
very cool. So let's talk about the book. The one of the whole reasons we had you here, and we haven't even talked
Yeah.
about that yet. Excellent.
Well, in the book, I describe about how I went from being the soccer mom, had the fibroids, was hemorrhaging, and then I opened up to communicating with spirits. And then for a while, and then I got into even doing anything with the indigenous people or the First Nation people because of my guide, Tatanka. And in the book, I learned about energy, and people say that's very often their favorite part of the book, where I met a healer who taught me a lot about healing and energy because basically he took all my energy and once all my energy was gone, I was kind of like oh no, who am I anymore? But I survived, and so that's kind of an interesting part of the book, that relationship. And then I learned about tracking animals. I went to Tom Brown Jr.'s, worked with Tom Brown Jr. for a while, going to his classes, and he's from New Jersey, and he's in spirit now, but I think his school still exists. And so I went to an animal tracking class of his, and looked up scat, which is learned about scat, which is a polite word for animal poop. And that was quite something when we had to identify these animal tracks. That was really fantastic. Oh, and one of the things that started early on actually was when I was interested in different kinds of healing methods. I uh, went to see a healer, and uh, while she was healing for me, uh, all of a sudden Jesus appeared. And I'm not Catholic, so for me, I don't, and I'm a Protestant, I'm Christian, but I'm Protestant. And so then the image of Christ, Jesus, is not something that I would see, normally. It's not, we have a cross in church, but that's it. But there I was, and she was doing cranial sacral work on me, and all of a sudden, standing next to me, there was Jesus. I was like, whoa. And fortunately, I was her last client of the day, because that was just really knocked me out completely. It took me a couple of hours to recover from that. Just it was just so amazing. And he didn't say anything to me, but I just had this sense of that he was healing my heart. Quite amazing, quite amazing, quite amazing. And then, gradually, I ended in the book, I talk about the different experiences that I've had as I have learned more about opening up to spirit. And actually, the first time that I worked as a healer, because before it was just telling people about communicating with spirits, but I'd never tried to heal anybody before and didn't know I was supposed to. and I was driving to meet a client. And, usually clients would come to me to contact somebody or to help them figure out how they can contact somebody. And on the way, Spirit said, "You're going to heal her." I was like, "What? I'm going to do what?" And Spirit said, and of course I'm thinking, I don't know how to do that. And Spirit said, just listen to the directions. So I thought, all right. So I was there, and this woman who I knew very well actually was sitting across from me, and she started talking about she was very unhappy in her relationship with her husband. She was very unhappy. And so she was telling me about this. And as she's telling me about this, all of a sudden I saw what looked like a monster coming out of her chest. And to me, I'm listening to her, I'm looking at this and thinking, this is weird stuff. And then all of a sudden, Spirit said, grab it and throw it out the window. So I leaned forward, I grabbed it, I threw it out the window, and she stopped crying. She looked at me and she said, "How did you know I have deteriorating heart disease?" I said, "I didn't know. I didn't know." And apparently, she was being monitored monthly now because of her condition. And after that healing, her condition stabilized, and then they were just started every couple months, and then every 6 months, and then every year monitoring her heart condition. So, that she got healed. So that was pretty strange. So basically, the healing work I do, Spirit tells me where to put my hands, how to channel the energy, and I just let it happen. I mean, I was at a place where I had several sessions lined up, and the people come in, I do a session, and then the next one would come in, and so these are people I didn't know at all. And usually, I just give them energy the way I usually do. And Spirit told me, no, you have to give this woman energy through her feet. So I gave her energy through her feet too. And I didn't hear from her, and it's because you just don't know, was this good? Did they like it, or anything? And then about a year later, she called me up and she wanted another session. And she said, it took me a couple of days before I realized that you had healed my bone spurs on my heels.
Oh, wow.
It's like, oh, okay. It's kind of thinking, well, you could have let me know sooner. Wait a year. But feedback is nice sometimes. Um, but so it's unlike a lot of different methods of healing, where the people kind of are involved in the process of deciding how to go about doing the healing. I don't do that at all. I get my instructions from Spirit and I send energy, and Spirit decides if it's warm or cold. I could put my hands near someone and they'll feel cold, and I can put my hands near someone else and it'll feel hot. But it just comes through me. So what I try to do is keep myself as a very positive, clean kind of flute, for the air of the creator, the breath of the creator. So that's the healing work is it's real. I really enjoy that a lot too. And so it's just and I kind of describe all of that in the book, so it's a fun read, and it also is very encouraging for people to try their hand at it and to just, keep at it and try these different things. And you're going to be glad you did. And, by reading this book, you're going to be able to identify with a lot of things, and you're going to be able to try to do these things. Everybody can channel energy, and, a healer, everybody can be a healer. A mother is a healer to her children, and so it's really something that's accessible to everybody, to absolutely everybody. So it's a good read.
So
Absolutely.
we have a caller.
Okay.
Would you like to stay and join in with the reading? We have a caller for psychic reading. Yes?
You want to stay on with us and do the reading with us?
Sure, if you want me to, whatever reading.
we could do a combined collective reading.
Here we go. We'll bring her in. Hi. Well, thank you for joining us to Two Psychics, Mary, Michael, and Alexandra. How are you tonight? Oh, she's connecting to her audio. Okay.
I'm here.
Hello.
Hi.
Who do we have with us tonight?
My name is Heather.
Heather, excellent, Heather. Well, thank you so much for calling into Two Psychics. And we have our phenomenal guest, author of the book Seeing the Dead, Talking with Spirits, Alexandra LeClere. So you are in good hands tonight calling in. Now, where are you calling in from?
Rye.
Right. Okay. So you're in the Rye, New York. So you're kind of near us. You're kind of on this East Coast vibe with us. Now, what question did you have for Two Psychics?
Oh, I've never done this before, so I
Okay.
don't know. So what is like the norm?
Is there an area maybe or an aspect of your life you want us to key in on the energy around a certain situation, a circumstance? We could just kind of open to your collective, see what information is coming to us. I mean,
Okay, do that.
that's the one?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you can just give us your first name slowly, and we're going to connect to you on an energetic level with your permission.
Sure. My name is Heather.
Okay, Heather. Okay, Heather. So a lot of times how this works as a medium and as a psychic and us connecting to your energy field as we open and connect to what I call your collective, your angels, your guides, your loved ones, and spirit. Different pieces of information will come to us. This may be names, this may be dates, a knowing, a certain period of your life that kind of becomes imprinted on us. And the interesting thing for me, and we'll all kind of unfold what we're all sensing for you, but initially I have a very heavy male connection. Now for me, when I'm connecting with spirit and there's male energy connected to you, connected to dad's side of the family, so either father, grandfather, someone that's connected to that energetic lineage, always comes to me to the right side of my body. I feel a very heavy presence coming into me from the right. So I know I'm connecting to energetic body, spirit around you connected to dad's side. I have to talk about the B. So the B is very significant around the energy. I don't know if they're bringing my energetic awareness to a name here around you. I don't know if this is a Robert, a Bobby, a Billy. The B is very significant though, and I feel like this is connected to either dad's side of the family, could be around dad. Now I also have a lot of military connections, and as I'm unfolding with the energetic connection around you, I feel as if I have dad's dad for sure, and there's Navy. He's in a blue outfit. He's in a blue uniform. So and this is drawing me into. I don't know if I'm going into Marines, Navy. I'm not seeing green like Army, but there's definite connections to Navy. There could also be when after that there could have been connections to police or fire, something where he would have been in a blue uniform. Can you take any of this information? Are you aware of grandfather connection to dad in spirit that would have military and fire or police connections?
So my grandfather, he has passed, so I was very close to him. That's very
And this is dad's dad, and dad is still here,
sad.
correct? Dad is still here in the physical, correct?
Yep, dad is
Okay.
there.
Yeah, because it's definitely older energy than dad. So yeah, so appreciate the confirmation. So we do have grandfather.
So my uncle, he's still alive, but he was in the Marines.
Okay.
So I can see that. My dad was a volunteer fireman. So
Okay. So there's the fire connection. Okay.
yeah, so far, wow.
Awesome. So, well, I think for this connection that's coming through, again, I think grandfather's energy just, I think he wants to bring his awareness to us so we could share his connection to you. I don't know if you've been feeling disconnected or, are they around me? Are they guiding me? So I definitely have to honor, grandfather and his connection. And I would definitely say, just from the little bits and pieces that are coming through as I open to his energy, the firefighter connection, the connecting to the blue unit from the Marines, it's almost as he wants to imprint pieces of energy to me to show that he's around the family. He's watching over, he's guiding. He's also talking about, there was either a child just born or someone's pregnant and is going to have the child. Who is that?
So my sister-in-law is due next week.
There we go. Okay. So just know he's around the family. What's interesting is this is the timing a little off with this pregnancy? Were there concerns around the date of the birth of the baby or an early or a late like the timing being off?
Well, my daughter's saying yes, so I'm going to say yes.
Okay. All right. That's what he's talking. Like, he's overseeing this, and I could tell you he's kind of watching over and guiding. So I would definitely feel the positive energy around this.
Okay.
So if there was that's what I feel like he's talking about. There was a delay, like something around the timing being off. So the birth is either early or late, but whatever there is, if there's anxiety or fear or worry around that, it's not to be concerned of. So this isn't going to have any type of ill effect on the baby and everything. I feel like he's showing everything is unfolding as it should be. And he's definitely watching over this for him to bring my attention to this. So let me hand this off a little. I don't know if Mary or Alexandra, are either of you picking up on anything? You want to chime in a little on?
I do. Can I go first, Alexandra?
Sure, of course.
Okay, so hi, Heather. Okay, so this is what I received. Immediately, a sea of mermaids. And this represents the dreamer part of you, your inner desires and emotions, your empowerment, self-discovery, transformation, and angels as well. I received angels. And that falls under, later on, I'm going to share with you about your virtues. I saw you speed walking. You have a lot of confidence. Where are you going? What are you doing? You're running, you're headed towards this endless goal. Okay, you're a speed walker. And then I received waitress, which is related to your health and wellness. There's a list of things that you need to answer about what you want in your life. So there's a whole list going on. You are most of the time alone inside of your mind, even if you are with a lot of people. To you, life is a maze, but really there's only two roads. You always have two choices, even though it's a maze. For some reason, it's just either A or B for you. This is what I'm receiving. I then saw that you are awake to the virtues. You are very, very aware, Heather, of the virtues of the world, which are love and hope and compassion and kindness, and you know about that and you appreciate them. You have gratitude. And I saw that in the part of the tree that is all the branches and the leaves, and then I saw that moving down the trunk of the tree, and it's telling me that you have very deep roots in the ground and you're grounded.
Thank you. Wow.
Okay, moving on to Alexandra. Did you receive anything?
What I felt with Heather is that she was very concerned about something, and that that was kind of the motivation for her call, was this concern. And I just wanted to ask Heather is, do you have some big concern? Perhaps it was the pregnancy, but what do you think, Heather?
I mean, I have a lot of concerns. I have 3 grown children. I have 2 grandchildren. So I think my concerns are always making sure that everyone is healthy and safe and all that.
Right. And I think what Spirit wants you to know is that you don't need to worry. That you don't need to carry that burden of always uh having concern about are they going to be okay? Is that going to work out? And especially, for the children who are big now, that it's important for them to for you to have confidence in their abilities. And so that you can actually let go of concern and concentrate on doing things that will really make you happy, and use all of that beautiful energy that Mary was talking about, and for your own benefit, and to really let go of the burden of worry.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
I would think the overwhelming sense I get just from hearing how everyone's connecting to your energy, what Alexandra said really connects with me too. With your energy is letting go, and I think that's a lot of maybe what has you feeling a little stuck or your energy a little discombobulated. I do think you're maybe overthinking and trying to over control, so much of, mama bear watching over all the kids and making sure everything, even though some of them are on their way and there should be no care in the world, there's still a lot of anxiety around them. Are they making the right decisions? Can I help influence them positively? I think a lot of that, it's almost like it's a self-defeating concern and worry that I feel is almost disconnecting you from that intuitive energetic connection that can really help you align with them and can maybe help see things on a different level of how things are unfolding around them. So I would definitely say like that letting go and not trying to control the outcome so much, because I mean we all know there's so much that's not in our control. So when we can kind of what's the saying, let go and let God. I think that's a saying for you, and I think you do need to just let go and kind of sit and release that anxious energy over not being able to control. And I think a lot of things will start falling into place a little easier, and I think you'll have a lot less anxiety and worry and concern, and you'll see, hey, they kind of have it figured out. And we have a lot of people, like I could tell you your grandfather's watching over the whole family. I mean, for his energy to come in that that clearly and give me that precise information, I would definitely say he's watching over the whole family. I would say you have a lot of connection to the spirit realm around the family, and I think for you, just letting go, exactly what Alexandra said, and just kind of allow that energy to free flow, and kind of releasing that energy is going to make way for new beautiful energy to come in, and I think that's kind of the crossroad you're at right now, is letting go of that control and allowing room for you to grow and for you to kind of find a little more of yourself and what really burns that fire and that passion inside you. Because I think you've been so caught up caring for and worrying about other people, you've lost yourself a little in that process. And exactly what like Alexandra and Mary were saying, I think a lot of this is about you reclaiming your power, reclaiming, that inner fire, that inner passion that can ignite some creative energy in you. And that's the crossroad I think you're at, letting go and allowing that divine energy to just kind of flow through you, and don't hold back. And I think it's a beautiful energetic cycle that, you're on the cusp of it.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, thank
Not that we wanted to overwhelm you with all this energy, but thank you so much for calling in, Heather. We really appreciate it.
No, thank you guys so much. You guys have a great evening, okay?
Thank you.
I just
Okay.
want to say one quick thing.
Okay.
When I said to you about being a dreamer, I also want to remind you about your inner desires and emotions, which is
Mm,
solidifying what Michael just said.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank
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 you.
you so much.
Thank you, Heather. And if you know anyone that would like Two Psychics and likes what we're talking about in these topics and all our wonderful guests, definitely spread the word.
I definitely will. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have
Thank
a
you,
good
Heather.
evening, guys.
You
Bye-bye.
too.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, that was fun.
It is.
Really fun. And it was a nice little group of us, and we were all here together. And we really appreciate you joining us tonight, Alexandra. And please hold up your book one more time so everyone can see it. And I am very interested in that group, which you said is what is it? Once a month you meet for mediumship?
Yes, the in-person mediumship is on Thursday. It's on the fourth Thursday of the month, and the virtual mediumship is on a Tuesday.
Okay.
And so just let me know if you want to participate in either one. And it's really a lot of fun. The thing that's funny about it is that people think, oh, well, you're going to contact, spirits, and people are going to be sad because they're contacting people who they love, who passed. But actually, people can be really happy when they're contacting a loved one and find out how they are. And so we always end up laughing and having a good time. It's nice, very, very nice. So please join us. And thank you so much for inviting me to be with you. This has been such a pleasure for me.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on. We really appreciate you being here with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You're really great guys. Both of you make a good team.
Beautiful being a
Thank you.
light.
Wonderful.
So anyone out there that is looking for their next book to read, a good one, Seeing the Dead, Talking with Spirits, Alexandra LeClere. And yeah, this is some great insight and guidance if you're trying to explore that spiritual avenue and you're not really sure where to turn. Well, there's a good starting spot for you.
And then there's my other book too, if you've already read this one, then it's the second one here. Healing Wisdom from the Afterlife. That's good too. Thank you.
Thank
you
you
so much.
Have a great evening.
Yeah, you too.
We will see you sometime in the near future, and I'm going to make my way up to the Sweat Lodge for sure.
Okay.
You already
It's on my
talked to me
list.
about.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. But thank you so much. We really appreciate having you on.
Well, it's very nice to be here. Thank you so much. Love you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Okay, so because time's almost up, I just want to let everybody know it's pretty exciting what we have going on this month. Next week, this is so fun. Next week we have on March 13th, we have Ida Spritzer. She has the integrated energy therapy practitioner. Well, I meant to say she is the creator of the meditation box. She's joining us. And then March 20th, we have David Eller, and he is a cryptozoologist and Bigfoot investigator. He's going to talk to us about his new book. And on March 27th, we have Grace Piscata, and she's an energy healer and intuitive. I also have April 6th, Grethel Baraggio, and she's a light language channel. I messaged you about her today.
Yes.
And I have one other person, and I'm trying to remember. Oh, I have the author of the Dragon Spirit Guide for the next Thursday. So we have basically one, two, three.
We have lots of guests for you. Lots of guests for you.
And so everyone out there, you can find us on Spreaker, iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, Rumble, and now all of our videos, all of our audio are moving into video, and they're all on YouTube. And these videos are also going to go on YouTube. I'm putting them in sequence. So it's excellent. It's fantastic.
Wonderfully fantastic.
Okay, reach Michael Edley, eyeofthespirits.com, maryamyofficial.com, and Two Psychics merchandise spreadshop. If you want to find us on Facebook, Michael Edley is Eye of the Spirit. I'm Mary Amy, and we also have a Two Psychics page, which is Two Psychics Radio Show.
Find us, like our page, and tune in next week.
Yes, come back next week, and we'll be here next Thursday. Everyone have a great week, and let's hope for some warmer weather.
Absolutely. Spring is upon us. Good night, everyone.
Everyone
See
be
you
well.
soon.
Bye.